Hi, LaPre. How are you? All good. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, it did log me in as you, but it let me rename myself.
Change. Okay, perfect.
Good afternoon. Sorry about that.
No problem.
How you doing today, Megan?
Good. How about you?
Good. Busy time, as you could imagine. We're 1 week, exactly 1 week away. So it's crunch time.
I bet. I bet you guys are feeling the pressure.
Yes. But we've been preparing, so it's, not too many crazy surprises, just a lot of loose ends to tie together, if you will. So we're in a good place.
Good.
Is Elizabeth going to be joining us today during the presentation?
Yeah, so Elizabeth is one of my counterparts helping with all of our National Black MBA work. And when I forwarded her the link that you had sent me, I think it defaulted to signing her in as a presenter. She'll be just listening in today.
Okay, no worries.
And I am just working with Greg's admin to make sure that he is joining. It's board week here. So it's a busy week for him.
Sure. So should we give them a couple more minutes before we get started then? Maybe go 12:05 or so? Totally fine. I think we're good. We're good. We'll be good on time. We'll still be able to end it right at 1.
Okay. You know what? I think that looks like he has a last minute conflict that came up. So he is unfortunately not able to join, but I can cover his material and we will roll with it.
Sounds good to me. All right.
Okay.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. We'll give it just a couple of more minutes and then we'll get started. I want to give Megan a little time to get ready over there, and we'll jump into the content and we'll say exactly 2 minutes from now. So thank you all for your patience. All right. Are you ready to go, Megan?
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't wait for me. I will roll with it and we'll be all good. So I don't want to hold you up. Please begin.
No worries. No worries. Thank you very much. All right. Well, good afternoon again, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of the National Black MBA Association, I'd like to welcome you to our final student-focused webinar leading up to our annual virtual conference next year. Next week. Oh, I wish it was next year. No, next week. Today's webinar is sponsored by our amazing partners at KeyBank, and we are all excited to have you join us this afternoon and hope that you are all remaining safe. My name is LaPray George, and I am the Senior Director of Chapters, Members, and University Relations here at our national headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm also a proud HBCU graduate of Clark Atlanta University, where I obtained my bachelor's and my MBA degree. So here at National Black MBA, we always recognize historically Black colleges and universities as a true source of academic accomplishment and great pride for the Black community, as well as the entire nation. We are here to support you along with our partners at KeyBank by providing opportunities and exposure to resources such as this to assist you in your educational journey and as you prepare to enter the workforce. Throughout the presentation, please post any questions you have in the Q&A section. We'll save time at the end of the presentation to make sure we address all of your questions and concerns. And you can also use the chat feature to post any general comments throughout the session as well. So before we get into the content, I just want to remind you all that in exactly 1 week, we will host our 42nd annual conference and career fair. As you should know by now, this year and for the very first time, we will host the event in a completely virtual format. Should be some exciting things to see and share. We've been working extremely hard behind the scenes to bring as much as our traditional in-person conference into an immersive virtual platform. So the information we shared during the webinar today is designed to assist you in your journey by making sure that you are prepared as possible for next week's conference and for your careers beyond graduation. If you haven't already, I would highly encourage you to download the conference app. The conference app allows you to have full access to the overall conference, where you can check the overall agenda, see who the speakers will be, even see which companies will be in attendance for the career fair. So you want to be able to, you want to also use the app to set up your own personal schedule for the day. So there are a lot of things that'll be happening, a lot of moving pieces and moving parts. So it'll be a wise decision to download the app, look at the conference schedule, and you can actually like save or bookmark different events that are happening each day, and then have your own schedule so you can look at the areas that you bookmark to be able to go back to those and make sure you don't miss any of the sessions during the conference. However, if you do miss any of the sessions, all of the conference content will be made available on demand. So about an hour or two after those respective sessions end, you'll have a complete 30 days to review all of the conference content. So great, this adds to the overall value of the conference, right? Because, if you happen to miss a session, or if you thought a session was really well facilitated, you can go back and review it, take notes, and kind of use that information as you progress. So again, a great tool that we have through the conference app, as well as all those sessions being made available on demand after the conference. So before we dive into some of the content that I want to share, and then before I turn it over to our sponsor, I want to post a quick poll and get you all's kind of just understand where you guys are as it relates to the upcoming conference. So you should see the poll questions on your screen. They're just 3 quick questions. So if you wouldn't mind, take a couple of moments to respond to the questions, and then we'll discuss the results immediately after. So go ahead and vote now, please. So give it about another 40 seconds or so. I see answers are coming in pretty quickly. So we're just about halfway there with all of our attendees responding. Almost there. It's got a couple of more. And I'll give you, let's just say 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Thank you all. So let's look at the results here. So the first question is, have you registered for the upcoming conference? Very happy to see that a majority of you have, and also happy to see that those that haven't will eventually be registering. So thank you all for responding to that. Is your resume updated and ready to share? Looks like, again, the majority of you do have your resumes updated and ready to share. And a couple of you are still working on that. So you do have time. So I'm glad that you are getting prepared in that way. And the last question, are you familiar with our National Black MBA Career Success Network? Looks like a majority of you are familiar and have uploaded your resume. A few of you have not uploaded your resume, and a few of you haven't heard about it. So the Career Success Network is the gateway to get you in front of our exhibitors, employers, and recruiters. By posting your resume and creating your own profile, you'll be able to position yourself to be recognized by those exhibitors and recruiters. But also, you can take some time to search open and available job opportunities, internships, and full-time positions within the Career Success Network. So this is also the way that you would be able to set up interviews before the conference next week. So it's always a great idea to go in now, today, over the next day or so, post your resume, get your profile created, post or apply for jobs that are there, and help, and try to make some connections with some of the recruiters. So again, you have some time next week to actually present yourself and be able to go after some of those internship full-time positions. So the Career Success Network is a great tool. It's a direct link from that within our website. So if you go into resources, you can click on the Career Success Network link, and it'll take you right there. You can set up your profile and begin to search for jobs that way. So thank you all. Hope that information was helpful. And let's go to the next slide. All right, so I'm going to dive into some of the content that I will share and then turn it over to our sponsors at KeyBank. So this year's conference is going to be fully virtual for the very first time. This is our 42nd annual conference. So we've done this 41 other times in a face-to-face environment. So this will be new for everyone, but we've done a lot of research, did a lot of homework, got a lot of great advice from those that have used virtual platforms in the past to get some key understandings of how to best present our conference. And I think we did a pretty good job. So I'm going to share 6 quick tips on some of the things that you can do to best prepare yourself for this year's conference. Some of this may be very obvious, but some of it should be, just eye-opening and reaffirming of what you already know. But I think it'll be very useful as you prepare for this year's conference. So 6 quick tips, and I'm going to go through them one by one. So the first should be pretty obvious. Do your homework. Companies like KeyBank are posting jobs and searching resumes at this moment. So as I mentioned, you want to be able to pre-book some interviews before the conference next week, and you do that by posting your resume to the job board in the Career Success Network. You also can have your profile updated there to be able to keep track of the companies that you've applied to, some of the companies that you have interest in, that you want to connect with at the conference. And also keep track of who's viewing your profile. So you can even see who's checking you out and let you know that which areas of your profile are working to your advantage. So again, do your homework, start early, start today if you haven't already, to get yourself out there to be able to make your time at the conference next week much more beneficial and efficient. Make a plan. As I mentioned, the conference app is a great way to get a kind of a foreshadowing of next week's conference, and it lays out exactly what's going to be taking place, from the schedule to the presenters to even the companies that'll be a part of the career fair. So definitely want to use the app for that purpose. And also, when you download the app, you're also able to take advantage of some special communications that we'll send out ahead of conference. So you'll be ahead of the curve all around by having the app at your disposal. So again, make a plan and use the app for that purpose. Check your technology. So if you've already registered for the conference, you know that you've already received an email from our platform provider that allows you to check your technology to make sure you have all the necessary software and tools within your laptop or tablet to be able to handle the actual platform for the conference. So again, you want to make sure that you're using a laptop or a tablet for the best experience. I know cell phones are, our go-to these days, but given the screen size, it doesn't really allow you to really get the most out of the overall conference. So I wouldn't recommend using a cell phone. I'd recommend using a larger screen via a tablet or a laptop. Definitely want to use Chrome or Firefox as your browser. Definitely make sure you have a really good Wi-Fi connection. If you don't, use an Ethernet cable to have a direct connection so you don't have any interruptions. And try to really limit your bandwidth within on those days. So, I wouldn't recommend having a window open on Netflix or checking your social media. You want to keep it as open as possible to make sure you get the highest bandwidth and the fastest speed within your Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection. So check your technology definitely before conference begins to make sure you have what you need to run the platform smoothly. Get your brand ready. As I mentioned, you'll have a chance to create a profile within the virtual platform. So with that, you want to upload your professional headshot, make sure that your bio is clear and concise in regards to your skill sets. And then also, once you have that done, you want to actually do some mock interviews. I'd recommend connecting with a friend using Zoom to your advantage to try out your skills and techniques, if you will, within this type of environment where you're having to talk to a screen as opposed to a person face to face. So having those mock interviews in a quiet place in your home, and obviously your attire should match your presentation. So you're going to want to make sure you're looking good, at least from the waist up, considering that this will be a virtual platform. But make sure that you are, looking sharp and that you're able to articulate yourself really well. And it's really only done by practicing within this type of environment. So highly recommend connecting with a friend to do some mock interviews before conference next week. The conference officially starts on Wednesday, as I mentioned, 1 week from today, but the career fair opens on next Thursday. So you can actually use Wednesday when the conference opens to go in, explore the platform and kind of see what exists and how to navigate different components of it. Obviously, use that time to set up your profile, but you also want to use some time to familiarize yourself with the overall platform and be ready to go on Thursday morning. So use the time that you have to your advantage and jump in there on Wednesday when the platform opens at 7 a.m. To check things out. And lastly, I would say just use a combination of all the things I've said to really make sure that you're ready to go. I'm getting a message here about some audio issues. Let me make sure that I'm. Can you hear me okay, Megan?
Yeah, I can. You got fuzzy there for a little bit, but you still sound okay. You just muted yourself, though. You're good now.
Yeah, so it's raining here in Atlanta, so it's probably the reason for the issue with the signal. So sorry about that, folks. This will be recorded, so I'll be able to send this out and share it with you after the fact if you missed anything that I said. So hopefully it recorded okay. But again, I was just wrapping up with the sixth and final tip that make sure you kind of take all the things I've said up to this point into consideration as you prepare to access the platform. You want to avoid distractions, make sure your phone's on vibrate, make sure if you do have various browser windows open that you turn off your notifications. You don't want anything to pop up and distract you while you may be speaking with someone during the conference. So keep those things in mind. Keep your supplies in reach. So if you have your water or your notepad and pen, keep all that nearby. As well as your chargers for your phone and your laptop as well. You want to make sure that you have full power. And of course, build in break time. You'll be doing a lot of in front of the screen time. So you want to be able to dedicate a couple hours to be within the platform, but take a 15-20-minute break to step away and stretch and kind of recharge, and then come back and dive back in. You can also utilize some of the different networking lounges that we have available. Some of the virtual lounges. And I think that'll be a great way for you to find some of your classmates or colleagues or friends with some similar interests, and just ways to really engage as if you would if we were in person in the traditional conference format. So highly recommend keeping all those things in mind. Hopefully this has been beneficial. Again, this will be recorded and shared as an archive with all of our other webinars, so you can use this information. You can refer back to this information after today if you miss anything. Okay, so let's see. But not least, our code of conduct. As with any virtual environment, we have to be able to make sure that you're operating in a safe environment, that you're not having any type of, I would say negative messages being spread or shared. And we are really going to be policing and monitoring the platform across the board. So if you do see anything that is not up to par with the code of conduct, the person or persons will be removed from the platform right away. But I think you all use social media and other platforms in some form or fashion, so you really know kind of what the basics are in regards to using derogatory language or slurs and things of that nature. So avoid those very common and simple things that we all have the understanding of, and you'll be totally fine. But we will certainly do our part to make sure the environment remains safe and friendly and a positive environment for everyone. So I wanted to make sure you're aware we do have code of conduct we'll be following, and those that are in violation will be dealt with appropriately. So just to recap, as I mentioned, do your homework. Make sure you get in there early and check out the Career Success Network, post your resume, make sure that you are checking out companies that will be in attendance and know what your plan will be to connect with them. Check your technology. You'll get an email with a browser check and system check to make sure you have all the up-to-date software to manage the platform efficiently. Get your brand ready with your high-res headshot, your profile with a clear breakdown of your skill sets and things that are on your resume. Start early. I can't stress that enough. If you haven't already done so, post your resume today and make sure you have an idea of who you want to connect with. And then, just get focused. The day before, make sure you have a clear plan. The day of, being Wednesday, make sure you jump in and explore the virtual platform, so that when you do hit the career fair on Thursday, you'll know exactly where to go, what to do, and how to be the most efficient and effective with your time. So hope that was helpful. Again, I think these tips have worked. I know for me in the past, I know they've worked for others, because we pull these tips based on feedback from previous conference goers. So I'm pretty sure it'll be effective for you as well. So with all that being said, I want to now turn things over to my colleague, Megan Lalo with KeyBank. Megan is the Campus and Diversity Recruitment Manager for KeyBank. We're unable to have Greg join us today, the Chief Diversity Officer with KeyBank. He had a conflicting commitment. But Megan has assured me that she can handle the presentation on her own. I have full faith in her. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Megan to introduce herself and go through her own content. And Megan, when you're ready to advance slides, just let me know and I'll do that for you.
I will do that. Thank you. Thank you, LaPrey. I appreciate the introduction. Good afternoon, good morning to everyone who's joining us, depending on which time zone you're joining us from. You may still be in the wee hours of the morning, but thanks for joining us. Thank you, LaPrey, for your partnership, and our partnership with National Black is one that we value greatly at Key. And gosh, guys, I wish that somebody had held my hand with tips and tricks like LaPrey just did for all of you. It would have made me feel so much more prepared for conferences. back in my college days, and particularly as we head into these uncertain times with what a virtual conference of this magnitude will look like. So I think great tips. Hopefully you guys took some notes and got some good takeaways from that. So really thrilled to have the opportunity to present to everybody this afternoon. I am sorry to say that, yes, unfortunately, Greg Jones had a last-minute conflict at his board week here at Key, which he is heavily involved in, and I know he would have absolutely loved to be here if he could have. But I will be stepping in, so I thank you in advance for your grace and understanding as I make my way through his content in addition to mine, and I'll also appreciate your advanced understanding that he could not join us today. But we will be talking a little bit about Key, which is a place that both he and I and all 18,000 of us employees are extremely proud to work at for a variety of reasons. And this slide here, I really love, and I hope that by the end of today's session, our goal really is for you to have a deeper understanding of what this slide really means and how Key actually enables and supports and empowers really our employees to every day bring their authentic selves to work and to work at Key. We'll advance to the next slide, please, LaPrae. So before we dive in too much, I wanted to give a little bit of history about Key because it may not be an organization that you're extremely familiar with. Our roots actually trace back 190 years, so almost 200 years old we are already. We are the 11th largest commercial bank in the country, and we're continuing to grow year over year, I mean, day over day. And really an important part of our growth is leveraging our award-winning culture of diversity, inclusion, and our philanthropy efforts, which we're really strong in all of those categories, and it's critically important to us, which I'll dive into a little bit more in the following slides. We are one of the only 25 U.S. national banks to receive 9 consecutive outstanding ratings in the Community Reinvestment Act ratings. I'll also share what you can see nicely outlined there in the map. While we are headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio, Key is represented across the country. Our footprint is really quite vast. We are within 26 markets across our geography, from Maine all the way to Alaska. So again, very widespread. At Key, too, our teammates are what we view as our most valuable and greatest asset. We promote equity and inclusion through competitive and, in a lot of ways, progressive pay and benefits practices, which I'll dive into a little bit more on the next slide, LaPrae, if you wouldn't mind advancing. Thank you. So here's a list of some of the ways. I know this is really a data-heavy slide and detail-heavy slide, but some of the ways that we've taken action to reflect that commitment I just spoke of. So we publicly stated in our commitment that we will be paying equitably with all of our methodology, and the results of that pay equity is actually included on key.com. Our benefits team in particular has been working so hard these last few years to release benefits packages that are structured so, for example, our higher paid employees share in a greater proportion of our costs. We now offer 6 weeks of paid parental leave to all new parents, including non-birth parents, to promote that bonding time for our employees. In 2019, Key held medical premiums flat for the 5th consecutive year for employees that earn less than $75,000. So really keeping the health and well-being of our employees top of mind. In 2020, we actually ceased soliciting salary and use of pay history nationally when making employment offers to external candidates, which was a really great move for us. And in 2020 also, we did raise our minimum wage for all non-commissioned hourly employees to a range from anywhere from $16 to $18, depending which market you will be working in. Something else that's important to mention about Key is that we take a really holistic approach when it comes to developing programs to support our employees. So it's not just about financially supporting them, it's also their physical health, their mental health, their emotional health, and too, like I said, financial health. All of those things combined are critically important to us at Key and to our employees. And so because of that, we now offer benefits and programs such as fitness reimbursement or caregiver assistance if you're helping an elderly parent or a disabled child, scholarship programs for dependents of employees. There's a hardship assistance program, which has been particularly necessary this year in the hardship that we're all experiencing. Discounted student loan refinancing, which I'll touch on a little bit later too. And so the common theme among all of these is that we as an organization from the top all the way down are committed to taking action to support our employees. And as our teammates are investing their time and their careers at Key, we want to equally invest in them. And there are many examples of that I just reviewed and you can see on the screen too. But as we shift into the next slide, LaPrae, I'd be remiss to not spend just a few moments acknowledging the very pivotal moments that this country has faced in the last several months around racial equity, not only as individuals, but as a country, and share just a bit of perspective that I've not only seen, myself, but I know Greg has spoken to the enterprise, our whole organization about himself, since he had just joined Key only a few months ago. He's newer to our organization, but has been pivotal in guiding our organization through how we respond in this environment. And one thing that he would say and that I would echo and all of us would echo is that Key's commitment to action starts at the very top with our chairman and CEO, Chris Gorman, who you can see pictured there on the screen. But in addition to his public statement and response, the leadership support that I've witnessed through all of the communications and the sessions we've been invited to attend for advancing racial equity within and outside of the company has just been tremendous, and we're not resting. I mean, I continually am getting invitations to attend more sessions and roundtables where we're encouraged to be open and talk about anything we've witnessed or experienced or taken part in ourselves, and our leaders have been truly leading the charge, but in the weeds with all of us on this. But you can see here on the screen too some of our commitments to our communities, including investing through the KeyBank Foundation and through a special matching program for our employees that was just put in place as a response to our current environment. But as I said, we're not slowing down. We're continuing to take action both within and outside of the company. And that just speaks to our culture and commitment to a diverse, equitable, and inclusive work environment and community environment too. LaPrae, if you want to flip to the next slide. Thank you. So finally, of course, you can see here, we have to tout ourselves a little bit for the many awards that Key has won related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, including being a top 50 company for diversity and inclusion from Diversity Inc. For more than 10 years, which is really something to be proud of and a real honor for us. Proud to work for a longstanding legacy. We also acknowledge the work that is still ahead of us. We aren't resting. And as I said, we're committed to working alongside all of our peers and superiors to better ourselves and the industry. So we do hope, of course, that you'll join us in our journey, which is a great segue into the next section of material. LaPrae, if you wouldn't mind advancing again, I'm sorry. Okay, so hopefully you guys can agree from the last several slides, as I mentioned when I led things off here, we've got a lot to be proud of as employees here at Key. And for the next couple of slides, what I'll be spending my time talking about is sharing just a quick overview of our 2021 campus career opportunities. I know many of you are seeking internships and or postgraduate full-time roles, but I know some of you also may be already out of school and are seeking more direct hire type opportunities. We can certainly connect offline, and I'm happy to get in touch with you and get you in touch with the right recruiter if that's more along the lines of what you're seeking. But for the next few minutes, I will be focusing mostly on our campus programs. So here at Key, we do have over 20 businesses who hire summer interns and full-time analysts on an annual basis. And for 2021, we're projecting to hire about 300 interns and about 150 full-time analysts. And on the next slide, I'm not going there yet, but on the next slide, I will detail what those programs are, what we look for in candidates, and all of those details. But where I want to start here is to say that we have really strong campus programs at Key. In fact, they're industry leading in several categories. But what I love about them is they deliver you a really great balance of value add work experience and hands-on work experience, but it's also then enriched with these really great programmatic opportunities that could include things, can and do include things like executive and senior leader exposure, ongoing training and career readiness sessions, mentoring program and coaching sessions, as well as some networking and social events as well. At least when we were doing in-person programs, those were a part of the program. I think they still have some virtual networking opportunities too. And speaking of our virtual versus in-person programs, I do want to share too, because this is something that Key is really proud of. We did continue on with our summer intern program despite the uncertainty that COVID created for everybody. And our interns worked 100% virtually throughout the summer. Normally our program is about 10 and a half weeks. We did shrink it slightly, and it was a 7-week program. But again, 100% of the interns worked remotely for all 7 weeks. Actually, if you can see the pictures on the bottom right there, that's a handful of our summer interns working from their remote locations. Another great stat to share with you guys that's a great reflection of the strength of our program is, to date, we have made offers to about 77% of this summer's intern class to return to us in 2021, either as a full-time analyst or for a second internship opportunity. And that, that percentage is well above industry standard. And it speaks to the fact that we're investing not just in short-term solutions, but we're investing in talent that we hope to be here with us for the long haul. Some other news that I thought I would share, and you can see it highlighted under the award-winning program section. Just a few weeks ago, our intern program was recognized by an organization called Way Up. You may have heard of them before. But they have labeled Key's internship program as being one of the top 100 in the country. Again, something else that is just a great honor for our organization and really validates the strength of the program that you would be participating in. You can see that too reflected in the testimonial from one of our former interns on the bottom left there. Our teammates and our campus hires as included in that feel valued at Key, and I think that's really important. They feel comfortable, they feel welcomed, they feel appreciated. And so all of those things and more are why our programs, I think, are so highly sought after by students across our entire footprint. I also want to double down on some of the comments that I had earlier on about our culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion at Key. So that notion of bringing your authentic self to work every day, which was the tagline on that one slide that I said that I loved earlier. This isn't at Key something we say to say it. You will really feel that as a team member at Key. It's always important to us that we're not only attracting, but also retaining and developing diverse talent at Key. And, year over year, we are doing what we can to refine our strategy to attract more and more diverse talent to Key. And, you can see on the statistics at the top of the slide there, our campus programs in particular are over 50% diverse. And as I said, year over year, we're refining our strategy to attract more diverse talent to our organization. And in fact, I do want to share a quick plug that we are hosting our first annual Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Student Summit. This will be a half-day virtual event that we intended on being in person, but will ebb and flow with the changing times, and this will be half-day virtual. At the end of October, we will be inviting 25 students to join us and hear from Key's executives, including Greg Jones, our employee resource groups, and students who participate in this event and apply for the event will have a really high-touch recruiting experience so that we can convert as many of those students into 2021 internships with Key. So I invite you guys to take a look at the application that we have posted on our career site to learn more. We're actually accepting applications through September 23rd. So you've got a little over a week yet in the application process. So please consider taking a look at that. One more point I would make on this slide before we flip to the next one, which is a point that I think will really resonate with all of you, is that at Key, I think you'll find our employee retention is extremely strong. In fact, it's not unheard of, and I've heard numerous stories that say that Key teammates spend their entire careers at our organization. They join Key and they never leave. And there are many schools of thought as to the reasoning behind our ability to retain our teammates, but I like to think, and I do believe, it has a lot to do with the opportunities for growth and development here at Key. And kind of a fun and ironic fact for me personally, today, September 16th, marks my 11th year with Key. This is my 11-year anniversary, and I have personally experienced thank you, LaPrey is applauding me. I've personally experienced just a tremendous amount of growth and have held a variety of roles in my time at Key. I joined 11 years ago as an auditor in our internal audit group. My educational background is accounting. And so, I've made various moves along the way and found myself in HR about 5 years ago, and now I'm running a team of recruiters. So to think of my career journey and the variety of experiences that I've gotten in 11 years is truly one of the biggest factors and why I'm still here, because I can get such a different experience without leaving the umbrella of Key, which I've grown to love so much over all of those years. So I wanted to share that before we advance on to the next slide, LaPrey. Thank you. So on this slide, you'll see more detail on the programs that we offer. I mentioned on the last slide that there are many. And for those of you who are interested in more direct hire opportunities, this still gives you a great sense of the opportunities that we have. These happen to be our intern and analyst opportunities, but are also businesses that seek full-time employment too. So please keep that in mind as you're looking through those lists. The Paths to Our Careers page is listed at the very top of the screen. Definitely encourage you to spend some time looking through the detail there, because there's some really well-defined testimonials from prior interns and analysts who share in just really good detail what a day looked like in their experiences with Key. But where I'd really like to draw your eye is to that statement at the bottom in red, which says that Key is more than banking. We are collaborators, we're critical thinkers, we're innovators. And this is such an important message because for many of you on the call, for college students or wherever you're at in your career journey, when you hear KeyBank, it would be natural for you to assume that we only seek finance or accounting majors or whatever you would assume is a traditional banker profile. But at Key, if you've been looking through, the list of majors that we seek, you can quickly see the variety and see that at Key, that's far from true. And so, an example of that would be that here at Key, as we speak, we are keeping pace, if not ahead, of our industry that is becoming more and more digital day over day as the weeks and months pass. And so as a result, we have a need for more engineers and computer scientists. And, we're becoming more strategic and analytic too, building out our analytics business, which means we need data scientists and statistics majors or mathematicians. So again, all of these things you wouldn't naturally think belong in a bank, but we have such a big need for. So if those apply to you, then we certainly likely have an opportunity for you here at Key. So again, generally, no matter your major or the work experience that you may or may not have, we likely have an opportunity for you at Key. So I encourage you to keep that in mind. Let's see. Oh, one other thing I did want to say too is if you are familiar with Key, I mentioned this earlier on when I had that map of what our footprint looks like. So if you're already familiar with Key, or if you Googled us or heard me mention this already, we are headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio. And while a lot of our campus program opportunities are also located in our headquarters, we do have opportunities across the footprint. And a couple of examples of programs that I would narrow in on, if that's important to you, is retail banking hires across our footprint, investment banking, which is called KeyBank Capital Markets here at Key, hires a good amount across our footprint as well. Our real estate capital business too is a good one to mention. So all of those offer positions outside of the Cleveland area. There are more than that, but I just wanted to give you a few teasers to think about. But if geography is important to you and you're located elsewhere in the country, you don't have to discount Key because we do hire outside of the Ohio market. So most of now all of our 2021 jobs are posted on our career site or in Handshake. If you have a Handshake account, we welcome your applications now. I mentioned the Diversity Student Summit that you can apply through September 23rd. And again, if you follow that link at the top of the screen there, I think LaPrey will be sending out the slide deck. You can find out more information about how to apply to the Student Summit as well. LaPrey, would you advance one more time for me? Thank you. Okay, so I wanted to leave you with a couple of takeaways and calls to action. So given this virtual environment that we're all still in, that we've found ourselves in this year, Key is offering a special series of virtual events that I wanted to draw your attention to. We welcome and encourage all of you to participate. And generally, we've realized how stressful the COVID era is for everyone, but particularly students. So tomorrow, actually, we are doing a session on student loan financing, where you'll learn how to understand your loans if you have them and what your financial options are, plus how and where Key can support you. I mentioned earlier in the presentation that one of the great newer benefits offerings that Key has for employees is to help support them through their student loan repayments. And we'll be sharing a little bit about what that looks like tomorrow, and it may be of interest to you if you're considering bringing your career to Key. Next week, we are hosting another virtual event, which is about digital banking at Key. So if we've got any tech-focused individuals on a call or engineers, this may be of interest to you, but we will be sharing how we've taken one of our digital products from just being a concept and an idea all the way through to market. So it's going to be a kind of cool topic and event. Definitely encourage and welcome all of your registrations through either directly through Handshake or through our career site under events. So again, that link that I had on the prior slide, you can use to find these events as well. So generally, a lot more to come from Key as we continue through our campus recruiting season. Of course, I've mentioned now a couple of times, but maybe I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but please welcome your applications to our 2021 positions. And if you do have interest in more of a direct hire role and curious what we have available, LaPrey can connect you with me offline and we can talk through that, and I can make sure you get in touch with the right recruiters. So hope to see continued engagement from all of you throughout the next several months. Good luck to all of you in the conference next week. and appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Megan. Great job. You didn't need Greg here at all. You knocked it right out. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we got a few questions, of course, while you were speaking. I wanted to wait to save them to the end. I think you may have addressed a couple of them, but I'll just go through them and allow you to respond. The first is, does KeyBank hire EMBA students?
EMBA?
E as in Edward, like electronic or maybe entrepreneurial MBA. I know that E stands for different things in different environments, but EMBA.
Okay. I do know we definitely hire MBAs. I actually don't know what the E distinguishment is. I apologize. You know what? I've got a message. E is for executive MBA.
There you go.
I've got to phone a friend who's jabbering me the responses. Thank you, Scott Houston, for helping me cheat my way through my answer. And yes, definitely opportunities for all types of MBAs. I'm happy to talk with that individual offline.
Great. Another question, do you have 2021 full-time investment banking associate programs too? If so, how many people are you looking to hire?
Yes, so we hire between 40 and 60 full-time investment banking analysts and associates each summer. The bulk of those positions have been already filled by 2020 summer interns because we convert heavily into the full-time roles. We have a small handful remaining. I know 1 to 2 in Cleveland, 2 to 4 in New York, and a couple in San Francisco that we're still looking to hire. Potentially a couple more to be added onto that, but we're pretty limited at this point.
Gotcha. Okay. Are there any opportunities for 2020 MBA graduates? So I'm assuming graduates that just came out in the spring.
Yeah, appreciate the interest. I think I don't have a sense of where we're at in hiring MBA. Is it for, did they say for investment banking in particular or just general?
Looks like it's just general.
Okay. Yeah, I again would love to connect with them and you know, get them in touch with a recruiter who may be able to find them something.
So Alexander, I'll post Megan's email into the chat, but I'll also connect with you offline, and I'll do an email introduction to the both of you that way as well. The next question, I noticed the investment banking analyst openings, but I don't see MBA associate openings. Is there potential openings down the road?
Yep. So recruiting for the MBA associates are a little bit later than the rest of the associates that are being recruited right now for analysts. Those usually interview in more January, February timeframe. But I would love, if they have interest, you know, I would love to connect them early to the recruiters for those roles to get them in the pipeline and potentially even be able to move a little faster.
Gotcha. Okay. Next question. How do I get to know that which organization would support international sponsorship? So it's like a general question about international sponsorship.
Yeah, great question. And what I will say generally as a blanket statement for our campus programs, so intern and analyst programs, unfortunately, none of our businesses support sponsorship. So if you will require sponsorship now or in the future, so even if you have a work visa or something that will expire in 2 years and then you will require sponsorship, unfortunately, we do not support that for intern or analyst programs. However, we do have businesses, a select few businesses across the organization that will consider sponsorship for their direct hire roles. So it depends on what bucket you fall into.
Gotcha.
It's a business to business decision for those direct hire roles and whether they'll sponsor.
Okay. Are there any opportunities for those who will graduate in 2021?
Yes, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just because our investment banking full-time roles for 2021 are somewhat limited now, we have plenty of other programs that are still hiring.
And looks like the last, well, there's another one that's popped up, but another question, should we directly apply to opportunities prior to the conference? So directly applying to the opportunities. And I think you covered that as well.
Yes, absolutely. And we have just another blanket statement that applies there and to any of the others who go out and apply. Please select National Black MBA as your source because we do track those when we get applicants who come in from your organization.
It's good to know. Another question just came in. When looking at internship opportunities, will there be a difference in undergraduate versus MBA recruitment for summer internships?
There is a distinguishment for the programs that will take MBAs over undergrads. Your recruitment process won't necessarily look the same, but we do have pay distinguishment and those kinds of things. The only business that has a separate track and a separate program is our investment banking for MBA associates.
Okay. All right. Another question just popped up. I'm interested in programmatic post-MBA hiring, but also interested in direct hire positions related to business transformation. Can you speak about the business transformation group, or can we connect later?
Business transformation. I can think of a couple of groups that would apply to. Probably best to connect offline because I don't want to misspeak or connect them with the wrong individual. Gotcha.
And I did post Megan's email address into the chat, so you should see it there. And Megan, is that the correct one that you would prefer? Megan_A_Lalo at KeyBank.com? In the chat?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All
yes,
right.
That's correct.
Are there any other questions or concerns or comments in general? Please use the chat or Q&A feature and we'll be happy to answer as we wrap up. There's another one that just popped up. I don't want to mispronounce, I'm going to mispronounce your name, but my name is Oludantu Agunlande. I'm a 2018 MBA grad. I recently got my green card approved through the professional way. How can I connect with Megan? I would guess via email, Megan. I posted your email there as well. So Oludantu, you can email her directly and the email address is there in the chat for you. So again, if you haven't already registered for the conference, here's yet another incentive to help you out. You can use the promo code on the screen to receive a discount on the registration for this year's conference. So you can go into the website, the conference website, which is on the screen as well, and use that promo code to save yourself $30 off the registration costs. That's for either a standard or premium pass. So I would highly encourage you to use that as a resource. And I guess I will allow you, Megan, to offer some final comments and then I'll close us out.
I would just thank everybody again for their attention and engagement. Appreciate the questions at the end and look forward to connecting with those who have interest in bringing their careers to Key. I just want to wish everybody luck in the conference next week, including you, LaPrey. I know you're in the home stretch, lots of final details. And I appreciate, LaPrey, you on behalf of National Black MBA, the partnership that we have with Key and you guys, and we value that partnership so much. And I hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon and thanks for tuning in.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. Same here as well. Love working with you for these past 2 webinars. I did post my email address there if you guys have any questions directly for me. But again, we will have the webinar in its entirety posted on our website under the archive section for all the webinars. And again, if you have any questions, concerns, you can email me directly. You should also have Megan's email address there for any KeyBank specific questions. But again, Megan, thank you very, very much. Thank you as well, Scott and Elizabeth, for assisting along the way. And again, I'm LaPray George. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. But certainly hope to see all of you next week at our virtual conference. Should be an amazing experience for all that can attend. If you're looking for a position, internship or full-time, this is your one-stop shop to do so. And I encourage you to let others know as well. If you're not in the market for a position, or if you know someone that is, again, this is a great resource for them to take advantage of. So on behalf of the National Black MBA Association, I thank you all for your time. I hope that you have a great rest of your afternoon and that you all remain safe. Thank you again, Megan, and I'll call you soon.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye, everyone.